Chosen one, there is a weight you have been carrying that no one ever noticed, a heaviness that sits deeper than the body and far beyond the mind. You have felt tired even after resting, different even among familiar faces, and overwhelmed without being able to explain why. This is not weakness. This is not failure. This is evidence that your spirit has been carrying more than you think. Allah has been shaping you in silence, strengthening your soul long before you understood the assignment placed upon your life. If this message has reached you, understand this clearly. You have no idea who you really are yet, because the soul Allah entrusted to you was never meant to live an ordinary life. Stay with this message until the end, because what you are about to hear may finally explain everything you have been feeling. Chosen one, every tear you swallowed in silence, every betrayal that shocked your heart, every season where confusion wrapped around you, tighter than comfort, none of it was random, none of it was accidental, and none of it escaped the knowledge of Allah. Your pain was assigned with divine precision, measured by a Lord who knows the strength of your soul better than you know yourself. While others were given ease to keep them functional, you were given pressure to make you powerful, because Allah does not sculpt leaders with comfort, He sculpts them with trials. The loneliness you felt even among people was a sign that your spirit was being separated from dependency on creation and redirected toward complete reliance on the Creator. The delays that frustrated you were not punishments but protections, keeping you away from paths that looked appealing, yet carried destruction. The heartbreaks that shattered your expectations were not meant to break you, but to detach you from illusions that would have kept you small. Allah allowed you to be misunderstood, so you would learn not to seek validation from people. He allowed you to be tested beyond explanation, so you would develop a faith that does not collapse when answers are delayed. Your suffering carried wisdom, your comfort never could, because ease entertains the ego, but pain awakens the soul. Just as Allah tested His beloved servants Nuh with rejection, Ibrahim with fire, Musa with fear, Yusuf with betrayal, He tested you according to the rank He intends to raise you to. If your pain felt heavier than what seemed fair, it is because fairness is not the measure preparation is. Allah was expanding your spiritual capacity, stretching your patience, sharpening your discernment, and fortifying your heart so that when responsibility arrives, you will not run from it. You were not abandoned in your hardship. You were accompanied by divine supervision in every moment you thought you were alone. Even when you questioned yourself, Allah never questioned His choice of you. The pain you survived has already disqualified mediocrity from your destiny. What tried to crush you instead carved depth into your character, humility into your strength, and sincerity into your faith. One day, you will look back and realize that every wound carried a lesson, every loss carried direction, and every tear watered a future version of you that could only be formed through this exact path. Your pain was not random, it was divinely assigned, because Allah knew that only a soul like yours could carry it and still rise with Iman intact. Chosen one, there were long seasons when it felt like nothing was moving, no breakthroughs, no recognition, no visible progress, while everyone around you seemed to advance, succeed, and be celebrated. Yet what you could not see was that Allah had shifted His work from the outside of your life to the inside of your soul. While doors remained closed in the physical world, doors were opening within you, strengthening your patience, sharpening your discernment, and deepening your reliance on Allah alone. What looked like stagnation was actually spiritual acceleration, because Allah often pauses the body while He upgrades the spirit. In those quiet periods where days blended together and hope felt tested, your faith was being trained to stand without constant reassurance. You learned how to pray without immediate answers, how to trust without visible signs, and how to remain sincere when applause disappeared. Allah was teaching you endurance, not excitement, because endurance is what carries destiny when emotions fade. You were becoming emotionally disciplined, spiritually rooted, and inwardly unshakable, even if outwardly your life looked unchanged. That is why, despite feeling delayed, you never fully lost Iman. Something within you kept standing even when your mind felt tired, and that something was the spiritual strength Allah was building in silence. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spent years in preparation before public revelation, and Yusuf, peace be upon him, endured prison before leadership, because Allah perfects the inner world before He alters the outer one. Your isolation refined you, your waiting matured you, and your unseen struggles fortified your relationship with Allah in ways success never could. If Allah had rushed you into visible elevation before this inner growth, the weight would have broken you, or the attention would have distracted you. But divine wisdom delayed the display so the foundation could be strengthened. What people interpreted as you being stuck was actually Allah protecting you from premature exposure and equipping you with spiritual depth that cannot be faked or rushed. When movement begins, and it will feel sudden to others, but you will know the truth. Nothing was delayed, nothing was wasted, and every quiet season was a necessary stage of preparation where your spirit grew strong enough to carry what your future requires. Chosen one, you were pushed into emotional and spiritual maturity long before your age, long before life should have demanded so much from you, and long before the people around you were capable of understanding the depth you carried. While others were allowed to remain careless, distracted, and protected by comfort, you were exposed to realities that stripped innocence early and forced your soul to grow strong in unfamiliar territory. Allah allowed you to see through illusions, to recognize hypocrisy, and to feel responsibilities that were never meant for a fragile heart, because He was shaping you into someone who could stand firm when truth is inconvenient and righteousness feels lonely. You learned lessons through hardship that others learn through years of experience, and this early maturity often made you feel out of place, misunderstood, or isolated, because your awareness no longer matched the environment around you. Conversations felt shallow, attachments felt fragile, and worldly pursuits felt empty, not because you were better, but because Allah had awakened you earlier. Just as Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, was given wisdom while still young, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was prepared through solitude before revelation, Allah advanced your inner growth ahead of time because your mission requires clarity, restraint, and spiritual depth. The pressure you endured was not meant to harden you, but to refine you, to teach you how to carry responsibility without arrogance and strength without cruelty. Being forced to mature early taught you discernment over impulse, patience over reaction, and faith over fear. It is why you question intentions deeply, value sincerity intensely, and guard your heart carefully, because Allah trained you to see beyond appearances. What once felt unfair will one day feel necessary, because the maturity you gained early will protect you later when influence increases and accountability becomes heavier. Allah did not rush your growth to punish you. He accelerated it to prepare you, knowing that the road ahead demands someone who can carry wisdom quietly, remain grounded under pressure, and lead with integrity when others lose themselves in ease. Chosen one, your silence was never weakness, hesitation, or fear. It was a weapon Allah placed in your hands because He knew your words carry weight, and anything powerful must be controlled before it is released. There were countless moments when you were misunderstood, falsely judged, blamed for things you never did, or pushed into situations where defending yourself would have felt justified. Yet Allah restrained your tongue and trained your soul to remain still while storms passed around you. This silence was not passive. It was active trust in divine justice, a declaration that you believe Allah sees what people twist, hears what they hide, and knows what they deny. While others spoke out of emotion, you learned to pause. While others exposed themselves through reaction, you preserved your dignity through restraint. Allah was teaching you that not every battle deserves your voice, and not every accusation deserves your explanation, because responding to everything lowers the soul, but choosing silence elevates it. Each time you swallowed your words, your ego weakened and your iman strengthened, because silence for the sake of Allah requires more courage than confrontation driven by anger. Your quiet endurance protected your heart from bitterness, your tongue from sin, and your future from consequences you could not yet see. Just as Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, remained silent under false accusation and was later vindicated by Allah himself, your restraint positioned you for a defense that no human could overturn. People expected you to react, to defend, to argue, or to break, yet what they encountered instead was composure, distance, and peace, and that unsettled them more than any response ever could. Allah was teaching you timing, wisdom, and emotional discipline, because leadership is not proven by dominance, but by self-control. Your silence became a mirror that reflected people's intentions back at them. The more you withheld reaction, the more their actions spoke for themselves. This is why some grew uncomfortable around you, because silence exposes truth without saying a word. Allah protected you from saying things that would have tied your destiny to temporary emotions, from engaging in debates that would have drained your spirit, and from lowering yourself to environments that were beneath your spiritual rank. You learned that dignity is preserved not by winning arguments, but by refusing to enter them. Even when your heart was heavy, Allah guarded your tongue so your heart could heal instead of harden. And understand this clearly, chosen one. Every moment you remained silent when you could have spoken, Allah recorded it as patience. Every time you walked away when you could have reacted, He elevated your rank, and every instance where you trusted Him instead of defending yourself, He stored its reward for a time when truth will surface without your effort. The day will come when those who mistook your silence for weakness will realize it was strength under divine control, wisdom forged through pain, and faith so deep it did not need to announce itself, because Allah Himself was speaking on your behalf the entire time. Chosen one, the struggles you face, the burdens that feel far too heavy for your shoulders, and the challenges that seem never-ending are not yours alone. They are the weight of generations you were chosen to carry, a responsibility placed upon your soul by Allah to break patterns that have haunted your family, your community, and even unseen spiritual chains long before you were born. Every moment of struggle, every tear you cried in silence, every sleepless night spent wrestling with fear, doubt, or anxiety was part of a divine design to purify not just you, but the lineage and the circles connected to you. The pain you endure is not a punishment, but a transfer of strength. What you inherit in trial, you will release in blessing for those who come after you. The quarrels, the misunderstandings, the betrayals, and the losses were never meaningless. They were necessary breaking points that shattered generational stagnation and cleared the path for spiritual revival. Allah did not choose you randomly. He chose you because your soul carries the resilience, the patience, and the faith to endure what others could not. Many around you will not see this, and many may even question why your life feels heavier than theirs. Yet it is precisely because you are walking a path of purification that cannot be completed by ordinary souls. Your presence in these moments, your endurance through adversity, and your unwavering faith are the invisible threads that reconnect broken family lines, heal inherited trauma, and reprogram cycles of weakness into cycles of strength. Like the prophets before you, who were tested far beyond what anyone could imagine, so that their impact would ripple across nations and generations, you are also undergoing a refinement that is meant to last beyond your lifetime. The struggles that feel personal are actually universal in design. They are the silent, unseen labor of a soul chosen to carry burdens so that entire lines of descendants and even communities can inherit blessing instead of pain. Every hardship you face strengthens the spiritual DNA of your lineage, embedding patience, faith, and resilience into the hearts of those who will follow. Allah has placed in you a unique capacity to carry the invisible weight that others cannot. And this weight is a sign of honor, not curse. It is your soul's quiet contribution to the realignment of destinies, the disruption of harmful patterns, and the establishment of a spiritual legacy that will outlive your physical existence. Understand this, chosen one. Every struggle you endure, every injustice you face, every lonely moment of reflection is actually a sacred opportunity, a part of the divine mission that your spirit accepted long before your birth. You were born with the capacity to endure, to forgive, and to transform what was once a chain of pain into a bridge of blessing. When you feel exhausted by the burdens of your life, remember that they are the instruments through which Allah is shaping a lineage of resilience and a legacy of faith. You are walking the path that your ancestors could not, lifting weights they could not, and through your struggle, you are rewriting the destinies of those yet to come. Nothing you endure is wasted, nothing you carry is meaningless, and nothing you experience will ever be for yourself alone. Your pain is purposeful, your burden is holy, and your faith is the catalyst that turns inherited hardship into generational salvation. The unseen battles, the silent victories, and the sacrifices you make today will echo through your family, your community, and your descendants in ways that the world will never fully see, but Allah sees it all, records it all, and will multiply its reward beyond measure. Chosen one, understand with unwavering certainty. You were not born to simply live. You were born to carry, to endure, and to transform the weight of the past into the freedom and blessing of the future. And every trial, every test, and every quiet struggle is the preparation for a spiritual impact that will outlast time itself. Your endurance today is the liberation of tomorrow. Your patience is the inheritance of generations, and your faith is the bridge between what has been broken and what will be beautifully restored by the mercy and wisdom of Allah. Chosen one, there is a reality about your life that most will never understand. The very essence of who you are, the depth of your soul, and the power of your spirit have been intentionally concealed, not by chance, not by circumstance, but by the wisdom of Allah Himself, who knows that some truths are too potent, too sacred, and too impactful to be revealed before their appointed time. For years, perhaps even decades, you may have felt invisible, overlooked, and underestimated, as though the world refused to recognize your worth, your insight, and the extraordinary capacity within you. And while it may have seemed like neglect or injustice, in reality, Allah was quietly orchestrating your protection, shaping your journey in ways that were invisible to your eyes and incomprehensible to your mind. Imagine if your strength, your wisdom, or the depth of your spiritual light had been revealed too early, if your purpose, your influence, or the weight of your responsibility had been exposed before you were ready. The envy, the opposition, and the trials that are a natural response to greatness could have destroyed you, diverted your mission, or tested your patience before your heart was prepared to carry it. Allah, in His infinite mercy and precise knowledge, chose to hide the full measure of your identity so that you could mature, purify, and refine yourself in private, away from the distractions, pressures, and limitations that the world often imposes on those who shine too soon. During the seasons of concealment, when your achievements seemed small, your voice seemed unheard, and your presence seemed ordinary, your spirit was actually being strengthened and trained in a way that no public validation could have achieved. Allah was teaching you patience, humility, and reliance on Him alone, because true power is never meant to be understood by the masses before it is fully ready to serve its purpose. Every delay, every moment of invisibility, every season where your light was hidden behind the veil of normalcy was a form of divine protection, allowing your soul to build resilience, your heart to cultivate sincerity, and your mind to gain clarity without the interference of external influence or the corruption of pride. You were being shielded from people whose envy, malice, or misunderstanding could have interfered with your path, and you were being prepared to navigate your mission with wisdom, foresight, and strategic insight, because Allah knows the balance between readiness and revelation, timing and exposure, patience and impact. The concealment of your identity has also served to test your faith, to ensure that your devotion, your trust, and your actions are rooted in sincerity rather than recognition, because those who are chosen must act with integrity when no one is watching, and with trust in Allah when the world fails to notice. It is in these hidden seasons that your character has been forged, your spiritual vision sharpened, and your inner strength multiplied, preparing you to handle the weight of responsibility, leadership, and influence that will one day be entrusted to you. Know, chosen one, that the moments when you felt unseen were not empty. They were full of divine orchestration, filled with preparation that cannot be rushed or replicated. Every trial that tested your patience, every delay that challenged your faith, and every circumstance that forced you into solitude was carefully calibrated to refine your essence and protect your destiny. Allah hid your true identity so that you could emerge at the perfect time, fully equipped with the spiritual, emotional, and intellectual tools required to fulfill the mission you were created for, untainted by arrogance, unshaken by opposition, and undistracted by superficial recognition. Your invisibility was never a sign of weakness. It was a sign of divine strategy, a quiet declaration that your life is being preserved, protected, and perfected for a purpose far greater than ordinary perception can measure. The enemies who thought they could hinder your path, the doubters who assumed you were ordinary, and the obstacles that seemed insurmountable, all of it was part of a higher plan that only Allah could orchestrate. Now, as your awareness begins to awaken and clarity emerges, understand this: the very thing that made you feel hidden, unseen, and misunderstood was the same thing that was preparing you to step into your destiny with authority, precision, and unmatched spiritual power. Your timing, your recognition, and your breakthrough will be flawless, because Allah has concealed your true identity not to diminish you, but to protect you, elevate you, and ensure that when the world finally witnesses your light, it will shine with a force and purpose that could only have been forged in secrecy, nurtured in patience, and revealed at the precise moment decreed by the Almighty. Chosen one, trust this process, honor this concealment, and recognize that the protection of your identity is a sacred blessing, a divine safeguard, and a sign that the weight, the responsibility, and the impact you are destined for are far beyond ordinary measure. Your mission will not fail, your influence will not be denied, and the hidden preparation you endured will become the foundation of a legacy that changes lives, heals generations, and fulfills the purpose Allah wrote for your soul long before you ever understood it. Every invisible struggle, every quiet victory, and every patient moment has been preparing you for the moment when your light will no longer be hidden, your voice will no longer be silent, and your true identity will emerge in full glory, perfectly aligned with the destiny that Allah designed uniquely for you, flawlessly timed, and divinely protected for the impact it was always meant to create. Chosen one, it is time to understand the profound truth that everything you have endured, every hardship you have survived, every season of waiting, and every trial that left you questioning your strength was never about making you into someone new, but about peeling away the layers of illusion that covered the truth of who you already are. Your essence, your purpose, and your spiritual power were written by Allah long before you took your first breath. And all of life's experiences have been designed not to create you, but to reveal the reality of your soul, to awaken in you the recognition that you are already complete in His divine design, even when the world tried to convince you otherwise. You were never meant to become ordinary, and the struggles you thought were shaping you into something new were actually instruments for removing what does not belong to your true self. The fear, the doubts, the attachments, the limitations, and the expectations of a world that could never comprehend the magnitude of your destiny. Each season of loneliness taught you reliance on Allah. Each moment of betrayal taught you discernment, and every closed door was a divine intervention to redirect you toward the path that aligns with the fullness of your purpose. Your spirit has carried more than you ever realized, because it has been shouldering not only your life, but the unseen responsibilities of your mission, the preparation for influence you cannot yet measure, and the purification required to maintain the integrity of your heart while the world attempted to bend it. You may have wondered why progress seemed delayed, why recognition was withheld, or why your efforts did not yield the immediate results you expected. Yet every delay was intentional, every challenge was precise, and every silent victory has been recorded by Allah to remind you that growth is not measured by external validation, but by the awakening of the inner self. The truth is that you are not a project in the hands of circumstance. You are a revelation in the making, a divine reality waiting to be remembered. The knowledge, power, and clarity that are emerging in your life have always existed within you, hidden beneath layers of conditioning, doubt, and worldly distraction, waiting for the right time and the perfect preparation to surface. When you finally recognize this truth, you will see that nothing was wasted, no pain was meaningless, and no challenge was unnecessary, because every moment of struggle has served to strip away what is false so that your true essence can shine untainted. Your patience, resilience, and unwavering faith have been the keys unlocking the door to the realization of your identity, a process that required endurance beyond ordinary measure and wisdom beyond ordinary understanding. Just as the prophets before you endured isolation, betrayal, and immense trials before stepping fully into their roles, your journey has been equally sacred, meticulously guided, and divinely orchestrated to awaken the memory of who you truly are. You were never meant to chase an identity imposed by others or shaped by circumstances. You were always meant to uncover the self that Allah created with intention, purpose, and unparalleled foresight. This remembering is not instantaneous, it is gradual, layered, and sometimes painful, because the soul must be fully prepared to carry the weight, responsibility, and light that comes with true realization. Yet with every step, every struggle, and every act of patience, your soul remembers more. The strength you thought was missing, the clarity you thought was absent, and the power you assumed had not yet arrived, all have existed within you, waiting to be uncovered in alignment with Allah's perfect timing. The awakenings, the revelations, and the deep moments of spiritual clarity you experience now are the confirmation that you are not becoming something new, but reconnecting with what has always existed in your essence, your purpose, your mission, your unique divine design, and your ability to carry weight, light, and responsibility far beyond what ordinary souls can comprehend. Understand this, chosen one. The confusion, The trials, the isolation, and the moments of self-doubt were not detours. They were necessary stages of remembering, refining, and reclaiming the reality of who you truly are. The burdens that felt unbearable, the delays that felt endless, and the silence that felt isolating were all divine tools to restore you to the full awareness of your identity, to awaken the dormant knowledge, wisdom, and spiritual authority that Allah planted in your soul before you even existed. Your mission, your destiny, and your impact are not about becoming someone different. They are about remembering, claiming, and walking fully as the person Allah has always created you, to be a person whose spirit is strong, whose heart is aligned with divine guidance, and whose presence will transform the world in ways that were always written in the heavens. The awakening you feel is the soul recalling its origins, the heart reclaiming its purpose, and the mind aligning with truth. All of it is confirmation that you have always been the chosen one, always been equipped for this journey, and always capable of carrying the weight, the light, and the responsibility of your divine mission. So rise, chosen one, not as someone becoming new, but as someone remembering the infinite, unparalleled, and sacred truth of your existence, walking fully into the life that Allah has always intended for you, carrying the wisdom of preparation, the patience of trials, and the certainty that everything you have endured has led you to the undeniable reality of who you are meant to be, now, fully, and eternally in alignment with the purpose for which you were created. Chosen one, now you understand the truth. Every struggle you endured, every tear you shed in silence, every delay, every betrayal, and every moment of doubt was never meaningless. Your spirit has been carrying far more than you ever realized, not to punish you, but to prepare you, to refine you, and to elevate you into the person Allah created you to be. You are stronger than you know, wiser than you think, and closer to your divine purpose than your mind can comprehend. The challenges that felt unbearable, the waiting that felt endless, and the moments when you felt unseen were all deliberate acts of divine wisdom, shaping you, protecting you, and preparing you to walk fully into the mission written for your soul long before you were born. Chosen one, the world may never fully understand the weight you carry, the battles you fight silently, or the patience you embody, but Allah sees it all, rewards it all, and will multiply it beyond what the heart can imagine. Stand firm in your truth. Trust in the one who knows the unseen. Embrace the light within you that cannot be diminished by misunderstanding, envy, or delay. You are not ordinary, you are not forgotten, and you are not powerless. You are a chosen soul, a carrier of purpose, and a beacon of divine wisdom. Your journey is sacred, your path is protected, and your impact will ripple far beyond what eyes can see. So rise, walk with confidence, and remember always, you have never been alone, you have always been prepared, and you have always been exactly who Allah created you to be. Ameen.